Hello and welcome to this week's weekly psychic forecast video for week commencing the 26th of September 2022. We will begin with an overview of the week, then we will go day by day looking at the energy and potentials of each of the days of the week, finishing up with a spiritual guidance message for everyone, so do stay tuned for that. There will of course be timestamps in the description below as always, so let's dive on in. I've got the first two cards here in front of us for the overview of the week. These came out very quickly, and I think this one in particular encompasses the energy this week. This is from my own little deck, and it says, what does love mean to you? On a very eternal number 8, and I feel this is all about our values. And I'm sorry if my finger's a little bit green. I was picking cucumbers earlier and I couldn't quite get it all off. Cucumber hands. But what does love mean to you? And it's more than just love. It's about, what does life mean to you? What is a sustainable way for you to live? And by sustainable, I mean sustainable for you, not what the WEF says you should be doing for what's good for the planet. I mean, literally, what's good for you? What is okay for you? How do you live? How is it okay for you to live? How can you survive? How can you be okay? Because we're pulling away very much from the old systems of having a job, going to work, and everything being fine and being able to buy a house. All those old systems are collapsing in front of us because they don't work anymore. They don't work for people anymore because they're not supposed to. The dark forces that I talk about are trying to always corral us into a smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller space. And this is where it's time to draw a boundary. And this is where the cat energy comes in. So the cat energy card is on a 39-12-3. And the cat energy is all about boundaries, knowing what you want and not accepting any less than that, and not being prepared to let other people dictate to you or tell you what to do if you don't believe it's in your best interests. Cats are very, very independent, as we know. They're also very loving, and I think they're quite misunderstood, but they have excellent boundaries. They're not generally sycophants. They know who they like and who they don't like. My cat in particular, I thought he was the most loving cat in the world until I realised he won't let anyone else stroke him. Outside of the household, he doesn't like it. He's very particular. So I feel it's a week where we are very much going to be considering these big questions about, what does our life need to look like for us to be okay, for us to be happy, for us to feel okay within ourselves and to continue living on this planet, because it is getting harder as time goes on. Emotionally it's harder than it's ever been. I think psychologically speaking it's very, very challenging because we don't have defined roles anymore. Everything's getting all mixed up, or it's all changing, and the person we thought we would be and the things that we thought we would do may no longer apply. We're no longer in the situation where you go to school, you get a job, you have a family, you buy a house, buy a car, blah, 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 go on holidays. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore. The system's literally falling apart at the seams. So I have some more cards for us for the week, so let's just take a look at those. We have number 43, stay strong. Just move those out of the way for a second. We have number 2, family. And we have 35, the Lady of Lightning. Okay, so I'm just going to bring these two back in here. Right. Because it all goes together in this week's energy. So it is very much about strength, but it's about strength for the right reasons. We have this beautiful natural looking dragon. It's like a nature dragon. What is your true nature? Because that's what you need to be defending right now. Whereas previously we were told, oh, you have to live in a house, it has to look like this. We use all these horrible chemicals and we call them medicines, or we put them on our skin or whatever. No, what is right for you? It's in many ways about going back to a more natural state. But I mean that very much as in a natural state of what feels natural to us, what feels normal to us, not going back to the dark ages. That's absolutely not what I'm talking about. But it's on this 43-7 energy here, which is interesting because it's almost like a new blueprint being presented to the world right now, coming through from great wisdom as well. And there's this very illuminating full moon in the background which sheds light on lots of things for us. So how is it that you want to live? How is it that you want you and your family to live as well? What do you want your community to look like? It's all about creating these new ideas now, finding our soul family as well. I think that's going to be a big theme this week too. It is going to be finding the people that we genuinely mesh with, or the people that we don't mesh with, you know, stepping away from some people and situations, and that's okay. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. It may just be that we've outgrown that particular energy. It doesn't mesh anymore. But it's also a week of paradigm shifts, so there may be some bigger events happening that we're not entirely in control of. But I want to say, regardless of what's happening on the outside, again, it's 8 energy. We've got 35-8 here, like we did on the first card. Regardless of what happens, life goes on, and 8 reminds us of that. You turn it on its side, it's the infinity symbol. There's no coincidence there. Life goes on regardless. So yes, there will be changes. There will also always be quote-unquote disasters of some kind or another. Some of them genuine disasters, some of them just a figment of our imagination, you know. And yes, there will always be changes in the world, but at the same time, life goes on. It always goes on, and it is our responsibility right now to draw our boundaries, to decide what we want our lives to look like, what we will and won't tolerate, and to live it, to manifest it and bring it into being. And that's definitely the challenge that's being presented to us despite everything going on this week. That's what we're being asked to do. So let's take a look at the days of the week now. We'll start with Monday. So Monday's cards, we have 32, Protect the Wild and Green. Interesting. Number 4, Conflict. And number 6, the Diamond Dreamer. This is interesting. Okay, because Protect the Wild and Green, this one on a 32.5 here, in many ways it's quite similar to this nature dragon that we have here, this very beautiful dragon. And so, again, I feel like I want to say on Monday it is about defending your true nature, the true divine human being. It's not about... There may be a push on Monday or more propaganda coming out about how humans are bad for the world and we should all die, or, you know, we should all live in suspended animation or something and upload ourselves into a computer so we don't harm the world, which is utter nonsense, and extremely dangerous to push as a paradigm. That would be very, very dangerous for humanity. I mean, I think some people will probably choose to do that in the future. It certainly won't be my path by choice. But, you know, people choose to have different experiences, and it is what it is, but not one I recommend from a soul path point of view. So it feels like there is some conflict here. So this is a difficult, choppy waters on Monday. And I think it's very much going to almost be a clash between the old ideology of making sure that we have the money that we need, the roof over our head, you know, having a job, fitting in with society, keeping our head down, towing the line, really clashing with our true nature, which really wants to be heard now, which really wants to be seen and felt. And I think whether it's a clash happening on the inside, which it will be for some people, or very much on the outside, you know, people might get fired, they might speak up at work and say the wrong thing, you know. I think it's going to be quite noticeable for a lot of people right now who are feeling this change of paradigm coming, who are really feeling the new energy of the age of Aquarius coming in for us all right now, because it feels like it's coming in hard and fast this week. And this is a week where we can really make some changes, but we have to hold fast to our ideals. We mustn't let the storm blow us too far off course. We have to keep correcting, and we have to keep our eyes on the prize. You know, we have to keep aiming, keep redirecting ourselves back to where it is that we want to go. Otherwise we will be pulled off course. We could crash into these rocks here, and that's when it all comes crashing down. And number 4 can be such a challenging energy. You know, it's the real world, it's the concrete world, but it can be very, very hard work. It can be struggle. It can be very challenging as an energy, and I should know because it's one of my numbers. But it does look like an interesting day. We're definitely going to be challenged to live our truth, I want to say, on Monday. Let's just see what my little deck wants to say. Oh, yes. It's kind of a coming of age here. Yeah, and that reminder as well that love is always around you. So it's all around you always on 54-9. So it comes in with a lot of spiritual wisdom there. Yes, there could certainly be some nostalgia here, and this could relate to the passing of Queen Elizabeth II as well. Definitely nostalgia and memories about, oh, it used to be like this, it used to be so great. Probably wasn't quite so great. But, you know, rose-tinted glasses, looking at the past and all that, and, you know, we tend to forget the day-to-day struggle or the humdrum. So yes, it could be very much an inner battle for many people, thinking, oh yes, but I liked it when things were that way, but things can't stay that way because they've already changed. So the future's here, and to quote a lady on Instagram who I saw, she's the divorce goddess, she has a very interesting account, I'll link below if I remember. She said something along the lines of, you know, that today is already here, it's just the past is making a big noise about dying. And that's kind of the energy, and I loved it when I saw that quote, because I mean, yes, she talks about divorce specifically, but energetically that's kind of where we are right now. It's like the new is already here, but the old is just making a big old song and dance and drama and being very hammy about leaving. So that's kind of where we are energetically. And I love that it comes on in this number 40 as well, 40, the number of viability. So yes, our new ways of living, our new ways of being are going to be viable on Monday. Okay, if we have this new plan, I feel it could really start to work, or we'll start to see the fruits of our labour. If we're trying to work in a new way, live our lives in a different way, in a new way, we'll actually start to be able to see it, I think, and see that yes, we can make this work, but we really have to stick to our guns. So let's move on to Tuesday now. Tuesday's cards. We have 39, see the truth. Lots of revelations, I think, this week. Number 2, loss. And number 43, the word Lord. Okay, very interesting. All right, see the truth on 39, 12, 3. Didn't we have a 39 earlier? I think we did. We had a 39 with the cat energy. So again, there's a repeating number coming in there for us with that energy, which is wisdom, and wisdom guiding us to create our divine blueprint in such a way that encompasses that wisdom rather than coming at it from naivety, coming at it from real spiritual wisdom and understanding what is right. What is right in a grander sense, in a bigger sense, I want to say, in a more philosophical way, rather than, you know, what is okay for right now, as in, oh, well, this is an easy win, I can do this, let's not think about the longer term. Whereas sometimes you do need to talk about the longer term, and you do need to think about the longer term. So, wow, see the truth, loss, communication and dishonesty. I mean, this could be a very challenging day for a lot of people. Tuesday's energy is certainly going to challenge our view of things. I think there could be a lot of propaganda around. There could be some lies to hide what is happening, things being taken away from us on an individual or on a collective level. Yet again, so many things being taken from us at the moment, or appearing to be taken from us, because we don't have to allow it to happen. I'm just going to put this out there, guys. You don't have to allow people to take things from you just because they have some sort of authoritative name or title, or they say to you, oh, I have the right to take this from you, doesn't make it so. Okay. We are divine beings, I keep repeating that, but the myth of authority is really quite a pervasive one. So, you know, most people still go along with things, but the truth is nobody has authority over you. Okay, and I think that's one of the truths that could be coming up on Tuesday. Oh, no mud, no lotus, absolutely. And we are all unique and we are all one, yes. So it feels Tuesday might be a little bit of a lesson from the collective, well, for the collective, from the higher spiritual realms, I want to say. Not necessarily for the individual, it may be more for the collective. It may be something that you're actually watching happen, like watching the boat float away and being unable to do anything to help anyone. There may be quite a difficult lesson served up on Tuesday, but it is all part of our spiritual growth collectively. It is that we are all unique, we're all one, but nobody's above anybody else. Authority is a myth, okay? It's a myth that a lot of people buy into and go along with, but it's not real, okay? No one has any God-given right to reign over you, as I said recently. That got me a lot of friends. Okay, so... with this one, we've got a 31-4 as well, which is very interesting, which is serving the collective. And we also have this very creational 3 energy here, along with 39-12-3, so another 3, and a 43, another 43. It's a lot of repeating numbers this week. We had a 43 a second ago with, I'm sure we did. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we didn't. But 43-7. So again, more wisdom there, more wise, divine energy coming in that. Just looking at my other cards because it's driving me crazy. There's the 43. We did have one. We did have a 43. Lots of repetitive energy, and I feel that could be a theme. Very much the same lesson repeating this week over and over again, the same message coming through perhaps from your spirit guides, or the same lesson for humanity repeating over and over again till we get it, because we will keep taking that exam until we do it. And sometimes it's just easier to see the truth and go, yeah, I get it now. I'm not going to lie to myself anymore. I'm not going to pretend to go along with things just to keep the peace and, you know, keep a job or whatever. I'm going to find a new way of doing things. And yes, I am going to point out the dishonesty. I am going to say something when the emperor has no clothes on. I will tell people when I see propaganda in the media. I will tell people when I see lies being presented to us as truth. I will tell people when they are given poison and told it's food. So interesting energy, I think, for Tuesday. I think it's going to be a challenging day. For some of us, it's literally going to be watching other people struggling. But for some, there will definitely be some big revelations. There will be lots of lies and obfuscation happening on Tuesday. But a very interesting one. And the truth can't be hidden forever. And it does feel like some very big truths. Again, I want to talk about the royal family for some reason. I'm not a fan, if you hadn't noticed. But I feel like some more truths, possibly uncomfortable ones, could be coming out there. So keep an eye out for those. So on to Wednesday. Wednesday's cards, we have 49. We are all connected. I love how these messages are tying into each other so beautifully one day to the next. It's like this beautiful woven fabric of the week this week. It's absolutely beautiful. So we have stuck energy, and we have the Keeper of the Scales on 38. Okay, so that's an interesting energy, and I think is a reminder here about oneness, which is obviously one of the cards we had for Tuesday, which is we are all one. So we're all unique, but we are all one at the end of the day. So we do all work together. You know, we are a collective, whether we like it or not. We are all an aspect of the divine. We are all working together in this energy. You know, and not just us here on this planet, the beings that we call off planet or in different dimensions as well. They're waiting for us. We have to ascend. We have to move so that they can ascend too. They can't go without us. It's a bit of a strange concept, but it is what it is. You know, they need us to grow spiritually, to have specific experiences so that they can move forwards as well. And they understand this better than human beings do. But there's this very beautiful reminder that we're all connected on that gorgeous 49-13-4. And I think when we remember that, we remember that the changes that we make on the inside, because this is a transition, I want to say it's a transitional number, 49. Okay, it takes us to 50, which is a very kind of stable energy. But 49 is matter being influenced by wisdom. And it leads us to 13, which is obviously big change and new beginnings, and then 4, which is the concrete. So it feels to me that there's a real reminder today that the change we make on the inside will change other people as well. The good changes, the healing that we do on the inside will help other people to heal themselves too, because we are all connected, we're all one. It's inevitable. If you heal yourself, help yourself, do your shadow work, and it's so important at the moment. You are healing the collective by doing that. It is unavoidable. We are all one. It's impossible to heal yourself and it not have a ripple effect for others. Absolutely impossible. So it's always the right thing to do, always the right thing to heal yourself. And that can be a bit of a sort of a quandary, I guess, for healers. You know, a lot of us who get into this field, maybe we start as healers. I started out with Reiki 20 something years ago, but you know, I wanted to heal the world. I wanted to help everybody, but I ran myself ragged trying to do it. You know, including when I moved into readings and other modalities, I ran myself ragged. I was exhausted. You know, I was doing things, my lifestyle wasn't good. I was putting everybody else first, prioritizing everybody's needs, you know, because of my past, my history, and where I come from. But ultimately that doesn't help. That keeps you stuck, and it keeps other people stuck as well. So I think there's a reminder here. Healer, heal thyself. Turn inwards, do the work on yourself to help you to ascend, to meditate, to grow, to heal. And that's what will unstick us all. That's what will help other people ultimately in the collective as a whole to ascend, to grow. And it's a wonderful thing to do. And it took me a very long time to work this out, to learn this particular truth. I had no idea, you know, you hear the old adage, healer, heal thyself, but you just think, oh yeah, I'll do that later. I can sleep when I'm dead. You know, oh, I'll heal myself later. I don't matter. I've got to help the collective. But if you truly want to help the collective, you've got to help yourself. You've got to keep yourself in balance. And I think that's important. This is a day of checks and balances in many different respects. And if you haven't been looking after your body or your finances or your home or your pets or your garden or whatever it is, I think it may be brought to your attention today. You may be feeling like you can't move forwards, and it may be because you're just giving away too much energy, hoping to help other people, but actually keeping yourself and those other people stuck. When we give too much help to other people, as you probably know, we can actually keep them stuck because we make them dependent. Okay, that's not helpful. So let's get a couple of little cards here. We have taking full responsibility for your life brings freedom on 51-6. Yes, it does. And that's what I was just saying. If we keep doing things for everybody, we keep them stuck. If we allow them to take full responsibility for their lives, we give them the gift of freedom. It may not feel very nice when we push them over the edge of the cliff, but they soon learn how to fly. They soon realise they've got wings of their own and they don't have to stand on your feet anymore. So it's quite an important one. Let's get one more card here. Oh, no, we're getting two more. All right, then. You are a divine being in human form, #truth, on 5611 too. And achievements come in all shapes and sizes on 53-8. So again, this isn't necessarily about achieving huge, gigantic things. Small achievements are big ones. You know, if you're working on what's not, you know, generally referred to as mental health, you know, if you're working on your mental health, if you're struggling with anxiety, with depression, with PTSD, you know, if you're recovering from trauma, which a lot of light workers are, a lot of us came here, went through massive traumas, partly because we agreed to take those traumatic experiences and change them, you know, to alchemize those energies. You know, we agreed to do that. That's one of the things that we came here to do. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that we have to suffer all the time. That's not helpful, because we are all a divine being in human form. So your achievements could be something very small, you know, but again, it's about taking care of yourself, or about allowing others to take care of themselves. And you might have big ideas for other people. You might think, oh, I can see this person's potential. They should be able to do this. They should be able to do that. But they have to take it step by step in their own time. Okay. And you may need to take things step by step too. Big achievements don't necessarily look big on the outside. Sometimes they look very big on the inside and absolutely minuscule or negligible to other people on the outside. But we know how big, how important those changes or those achievements actually are. So let's move on to Thursday now. Okay. So Thursday we have 28, need and necessity. We have the healing light, lovely card. And we have 44, the Lady of the Mirror. Fascinating. Okay. Interesting. Be interesting to see what the moon's doing today. I'm quite drawn to talk about the lunar cycle. I'm not sure where the moon is. Maybe the astrologers can weigh in the comments for me and tell me what the moon's up to on Thursday. Interesting energy though. Reflection and non-judgment. The energy that comes through for me for Thursday is really peaceful, because suddenly I just went, oh, that's nice. It's a peaceful energy. It's a gentle energy. It's a day for going to the library. I feel it's a day of study, spiritual study. It's great if you're a student. I think you'll get a lot done. You'll really take a lot in. It's a fantastic day for enlightenment, for meditation, for learning from our guides as well, spending time in contemplation. But it is, of course, a day to reflect on our lives. You know, the Lady of the Mirror is all about looking in the mirror, seeing what's what in the concrete world, which is why we have this reflective 44, because it's the concrete looking at the concrete. You know, it's looking at itself in a very real world aspect now. So it may be time to really look at how your life is working for you and what needs to be healed there. And again, this is moving on from the theme for this week, which is very much about how do we exist in this world, how do we live in this world. But this comes in with a very balancing and peaceful energy, so it's actually quite a nice day. So it might be a day where, I don't know, you go to IKEA and buy some different furniture because the old ones that you had weren't working for you, or you want to, you know, change things in your life. move somewhere else, emigrate, there's a lot of travel indicated with all the little birds and the clouds on here. I'm drawn to those at the moment. I think travel could come up as a possibility for many people. There's definitely movement with, again, birds over here and the movement of the water, which isn't completely stationary here. You can see the ripples there. It's all about movement. It's about the energy moving too. Yes, how can you build on this? Oh, look at that, 44. Okay, so they're just being cheeky and showing off now. 44, 44. So 44-8 comes out twice. That's very important numerology for today, for Thursday. So look out for it if it shows up on your path. 44, again, was a number that was coming up in previous readings. You may remember I asked you to comment 44 in the comments of a previous video. Okay, we get the hint, Spirit. We see it, the 44. We need to pay attention. What brings you happiness and joy? So again, it's another day of introspection. It's a very interesting one. So it's 38. What's that? 38-11-2. So there's wisdom coming in there as well. Asking us to look at things with wisdom, but looking at how we can heal the world and heal ourselves at the same time, maintaining that balance. We don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, though. There's a reminder there that yes, we want to change the world. Yes, we want to change our lives, but we don't have to burn it all to the ground. We don't have to destroy everything, because everything that we need is actually already here. Okay, and everything that we have at the moment that we've created, we did that. Okay, so let's just look at what we've done, what we've achieved so far. We may have decided that actually we don't like it anymore and we don't agree with any of these things, and we feel like we were tricked into doing things in our lives because that's not how we want to live. But I want to say on Thursday, take a step back and say, actually, you had a part in that. We all had a part in that, and that's okay. How can we build on what we've already done? What can we learn from what we've already done? Okay, how can we move forwards with the tools we already have? We don't have to burn down the tool shed. Use what's in there. Use the tools in there. You don't necessarily have to make new ones. Okay, we already have a lot of experience and knowledge from this lifetime. How can we implement that in new ways so that it becomes healing, so that it becomes a meditation, so it becomes a joyful life? So that's going to be very interesting to ponder on today. So let's move on to Friday now. So, Friday's cards, we have Wash Away Your Burdens on that 48. Ascended Masters. And the River Queen. Lots of water coming out now after that lake. Wow. Yes, and that's interesting because both of these cards from different packs, they're all about letting go. They are about going with the flow, about letting go of anger or thought patterns we've been holding on to, resentments that just don't need to be there. There's a lot of spiritual guidance coming in on Friday, which is absolutely beautiful. Maybe guiding us to let go of people, places, thought patterns, things we don't need. Could be time for a declutter. Again, the infinity symbol is showing up here, which is interesting. That's shown up a few times. I had that on my own little card a moment ago with the 44-8. How can you build on this? It is, I think, on Friday, I want to say it's about thinking about the longer term. There's definitely a sense of the longer term, of looking to the future, but in a longer sense, in a more sustainable sense. And I mean that in the correct use of the word, not in the modern use of the word, which is really horrible, which implies basically getting rid of humans, which I don't agree with at all. But letting go of fear, guilt, resentment, I feel it's very much a day of getting rid of, I want to say a lot of guilt, shame, beliefs that we were somehow bad and wrong. Okay, just let it go. It doesn't matter. Whatever you did, you did. Whatever you said, you said. Whatever happened, happened. Okay, it's in the past. You can't change it. Okay, and if you hold on to that guilt, that fear, those bad feelings, that shame, it will only harm you in the present and continue to harm you in the future. And there's really no need for that. Okay, nature knows to let go of things, otherwise it becomes putrid, it becomes rotten. You know what happens to a stagnant, to a pond or to a body of water? If there's no movement, if there's no air, if there's no fresh water coming, it becomes stagnant. Okay, and there's this nudge here to clean out your stagnant pond, empty your bowl of yesterday's rice, to coin another phrase there. So, But remember, you don't have to do it all today. It doesn't all have to happen at once. 45, 46, that's a nice progression. Growth starts small, but it leads to something much more divine. 45, 46. Really beautiful energy actually on Friday. I'm really loving that energy. Be interesting to see what comes in. 48 again is completion of karmic contract, so it's let go of the lessons of the past. You did that already. That's done. Let go. Leave it behind. Leave it where it is. Put down the bag of rocks. You don't need to be carrying that burden around with you anymore. So it's a very wise day. Beautiful day for magical working. Beautiful day for meditation, for spiritual development, psychic development. Lovely day to do a reading as well. That would be very interesting, particularly if you're asking about your spiritual path or you know, any part of your path and your future in a very concrete sense, looking for guidance as to where you should be going, you know, from your guides or from higher beings. I think that's going to be a very, very interesting energy there. Yeah, very peaceful, very peaceful. So let's move on to Saturday now. Okay, so Saturday's cards. Oh, we have 34, reveal your truth. We also have 44, so I don't believe it. Okay, that's our third 44. Okay, they're being very cheeky. Surrender to the flow. It's all about going with the flow right now. This is a real theme that we've got happening here. We have victim mentality. Some people are being called out right now. If that's you, then here's your message. And the Spirit Whisperer on that divine number 3, divine guidance coming through to really help humanity to get out of victim mentality. Because guess what? It's not just the person that you point fingers at on TikTok. It's you. It's all of us. Humanity is stuck in victim mode. And this is the problem. This is why we get down on our knees and beg other people to give us permission to do things and then cry and bitch about it when some megalomaniac decides that we can't do the thing we want to do because it inconveniences them. That megalomaniac has no right to tell you what to do. Get up, get off your knees, untie this tiny little rope. And this is very reminiscent in some ways of the Devil card in a traditional tarot deck, which I've talked about quite a lot recently, but it seems very, very relevant. The Devil card isn't about Satan. It's about holding yourself back and about how you're actually in control of your life. And I've said this before, but look at that. That's not even knotted. You could literally just slip that off or slip it off the bottom of the bed and walk away. Okay, you're okay. Yes, you may be being flooded with emotions, which are very scary, which are very big, with difficult feelings. You feel like time's running out. Everything's against you. There's bare floor. Oh no, I'm getting wet. I can't do anything. Looks like I'm in a little prison cell here, but you're absolutely not in a prison cell. Humanity has been acting as though it's in a prison cell for a long time, which is why the world looks a lot like a prison right now. It doesn't have to, okay? It really doesn't have to. It's time for us to remember who we truly are. And we are these incredibly powerful spiritual beings. We are excellent at manifesting our future. We're excellent at manifesting generally. But the problem is we also like to go with the flow. We like to be told what to do. You know, we like to... to bow down to other people and go, oh, well, they probably know better than I do, so I'll just go along with what he said. Oh, well, he's just being crowned, so, you know, he's the king now, so, you know, I just have to bow down to him and give him all my money. What? I'm sorry, what? Why? Why on earth do you need to do that? Oh, because he came out of this person's vagina. What's that got to do with anything? You know what I mean? So, yes, reveal your truth and surrender to divine flow. Surrender to the flow of spiritual guidance from your guides to your higher self, your higher knowledge, your higher being. Reveal who you truly are and surrender to that flow. That's the one you're being asked to surrender to today. It's a powerful, powerful day this Saturday. It is time to stand up and be counted. Absolutely. I want to say in some ways no matter what the cost, but that's not exactly what I mean. Yes, it's a time to take off the mask, to stop pretending to be the victim. Take off the victim mask, okay? You are not this mask. You are not this person, okay? You are this incredibly powerful, beautiful being who can communicate with higher realms, who can communicate with God, with gods, who can create their reality in the most loving, divine and wise way imaginable. And this is what Saturday is truly all about. It's about reaching a higher level of our own consciousness. And some people are going to be challenged. I think there will be some difficult lessons for some people on Saturday, but just try to remember who you truly are. Try and go through Saturday if you can, at the beginning of the day, try and take on a slightly different mindset and go, right, today I'm going to act like the spiritual being I truly am. You know, I'm going to act like everything that happens to me in my life is my responsibility. You know, that the world is actually acting in my best interest. Everything is just reflecting back an aspect of myself. I'm going to try and go through this whole day and do it with such utter conscience of everything that's happening, such recognition, being so aware of everything that's truly happening and why it's truly happening to me. And go with that flow and see where it takes you. Go with that energy and see what wisdom it brings in for you. So let's just, oh, okay. Slow down to speed up. Yes, yeah. Sometimes we have to stop to observe so that we can realise what's actually happening. And this is what I was saying about observe what happens in your life. Take full responsibility for it. And gratitude isn't about being small, it's about opening your arms wide. Again, one of the myths, one of the lies that we've been told as human beings is that we have to be grateful, but we're taught that being grateful means getting on our knees and bowing and scraping to some higher person, higher power, and accepting what meagre crumbs they choose to toss in our direction, which is not what gratitude is about at all. Of course, we can be grateful for crumbs, but the point of gratitude is it's actually an incredibly powerful reflex, a powerful muscle that we can develop so that we can create more abundance in the world and more joy in the world. It's a real gratitude practice is actually incredibly joyful. It's not about playing small or feeling small and unworthy. It's very joyful, very fun. So do remember your gratitude practice if you don't already have one. I have this adorable little gratitude journal I got myself a while ago, which I was filling in at one point. I write it on other things now because I ran out of space in here, but it's adorable. But remember, there are so many things to be grateful for. And yes, sometimes we do need to slow down, smell the roses, look at the small things, the little things that make our life beautiful, that make it worldwide, worldwide? That make it worldwide. Interesting. Okay, interesting word that came through. As you know, these readings come through me, not from me. So interesting that they gave me the world. The world. They gave me the world. Huh. We're being offered the world on Saturday. We're absolutely being offered the world. And then this card came out. Kundalini rising. So spiritual awakening. It's a real day of spiritual awakening for many people. See what happens, and please come back and tell me what happens on your Saturday and beyond as well, because it's going to be a very powerful, very sacred, very interesting day. Okay, so let's move on to Sunday now. So, Sunday's cards, we have Challenge Your Perception. We have Focus and then Act, so we've got 5 and 12. Again, we had 2 cards from this pack because that's what came out. We have Transformation, there it is. I should hope so after Kundalini Rising. And we have the Ringmaster of Scrutiny, number 9. Discernment, Clear Vision, Details. Oh yes. Challenge your perception, focus then act, transformation, and be discerning. Oh my goodness. Feels like we're being given a job on Sunday. It really feels like that. Very, very interesting energy. Very potent energy, I think, on Sunday to actually begin a new cycle. It's going to be such an interesting one though, because many people's perceptions will be very, very challenged. Again, it could be for some people a day to stand up and be counted, you know, if there are uprisings in your country or something going on there. But I think it's a day where we need to be very, very clear about our plans for the future. If you're doing any manifesting work at the moment, be very, very clear about what it is you're doing, what it is you're trying to achieve, where it is you want to go. And it could be a day to revisit your vision board. It could be a day to just really make some plans for things that you never thought were possible. You know, there could be things coming up in your life this week that you suddenly think, oh, I want to do this. I want to move there. I want to do this for my living. This is the lifestyle I want. This is how I want to be. I want to have children, you know, or I want to, I don't know, to go and be a monk in the Himalayas. Why not? But it's going to be very challenging, that the things that we realise are possible for us that perhaps we never thought were possible before. We only thought they were possible for people up on pedestals who had all this money and power, and we suddenly think, actually it's very simple. I can see ways to achieve what I want. I don't have to struggle and fight against the system that's been put in place to hold me back, to make everything difficult. And it's interesting to see we've got two swords, one down, one up. And look at this one. Wow, look at the energy coming off this one. It's like lightning. It's incredible. Very, very balanced energy, one up, one down. Light and dark. Very, very balanced between the different aspects of self. And there's some real transformation here. So it could be that you're planning some very big changes in your life on Sunday, or it just suddenly comes to you out of the blue. But I do want to say, whatever you're doing, be very careful to dot the I's, cross the T's, be very clear on what's happening, act from wisdom, act from clarity. And 12 is the number of perfect governance. So it is about being balanced, measured, and acting and moving forwards in the right way. And 12 reduces to 3, which is, of course, the blueprint, the new plan, the map forwards. So don't be afraid to step outside of the box, because we've got 2 5s here. So adventure is calling you on Sunday, and I think it will continue to call you. And there's a reminder here that you can't raise others up by lowering yourself down. Interesting that 50s come out to play, because we had 49 and 51 earlier. I wondered if 50 was coming out, and there it is. And learn to rest, not to quit. Okay. Things may have seemed so incredibly hard recently, but it's almost like all of a sudden, like Chrissy's been saying, what if it comes in at once? What if all of a sudden, all of the solutions to all of your problems are just presented to you in one simple format? And you think, oh, that's the thing my guides were telling me to wait for. That's why this other thing didn't manifest, and the universe kept saying, wait, wait, wait. I've got something better in mind. Just hang on in there. I promise you there's something better coming. It can be so hard to wait in those situations where you're like, where is it? Where is it? I don't believe you. The universe keeps saying, wait, divine timing. I hate being told to wait, don't we all? But it's interesting, so 55, so again it reduces to a 5. There's a real invitation to adventure, and reminding us that it's okay to take risks, it's okay to improve your own life. And this is an important one for the healers among us. I think it's an important week that will challenge the healers among us, reminding us to take care of ourselves in order to help the world. Even energetically by proxy, without actually directly doing anything to other people, we can serve as an example. Energetically, we can help people because we're all connected, and when we heal ourselves, energetically it filters out into the field. It helps other people regardless. Yes, you will never heal somebody else by remaining in pain, okay? You will never make somebody else rich by remaining in poverty and hoping that'll do it. That's not what does it, okay? You can't reduce somebody else's suffering by increasing yours, okay, unless they're an absolute psychopath. But that's not what I'm talking about here. You're not going to reduce somebody else's pain and suffering by keeping yourself in pain and suffering. Go, well, I better not be okay because that person might not like it, and I might be making them feel bad, and that's not good. No, you must heal yourself. You must improve your life so you can take other people with you. Get out of victim mentality. Get out of playing small. Get off your knees. Okay, humanity, it's time for us to do this now. A lot of wisdom, so it's a great day for any work with Saturn. I want to say, if you do any kind of planetary magic, any kind of meditation, spiritual work is going to be very interesting, but I think it'll be focused on the longer term, on manifesting for the future, but it may literally be ideas that come out of the blue on Sunday, or that have come up previously out of the blue, but we're actually starting to concretize them a little bit now, actually starting to move into a planning phase from just the ideas phase. So let's move on to our spiritual guidance message for this week. There we go. Our cards this week, we have the Divine Feminine on 31. Sorry about my light here, I don't know how to stop it shining. 11, Remembrance. Interesting. Okay. Number 10, Soulcraft. And then 39, Variance. I'm going to bring this one in just a second. But first of all, it's almost like... And I think this is going to be interesting to see in the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth and any countries that are affected by the crown, what you might call the Five Eyes countries. It feels like, it does feel like this is connected to Elizabeth's passing, Queen Elizabeth II. It feels like it's connected to her. Now, it's bringing up a very ancient remembrance, almost like now she's out of the picture, the fog's starting to lift. now that this one person, this last remaining relic that people actually had respect or liking for, who had excellent PR, I'll give her that. Her PR was impeccable, incredible. She knew how to keep up appearances like no one. The fog is lifting and the divine feminine is back to take the place of the monarch. The divine feminine is back, the divine feminine that has been crushed for so long, okay, where women were treated as second-class citizens and still are in many parts of the world, which is absolutely tragic. But there's this huge remembrance coming in, and this always reminds me of the Mayan calendar. I think that's what the artist was going for here. But a remembrance of who we truly are and the big cycles that we go through on a soul level and also as a collective, as different nations as well. It's a very, very interesting energy this week. It's an energy of remembering who we truly are. And yes, it's absolutely a turning of the wheel. It's a changing of the era. And it's wonderful because it is about that beautiful, loving energy of the divine feminine coming back in. I also get some communication from off-world. This looks insectoid to me. Now, obviously, I don't know. I don't know what extraterrestrials look like, but people have talked about them looking in different forms before now, and I've kind of perceived them in different forms. These ones, to me, I perceive them in insect form. They're actually very loving, but that's just how they come through to me. I don't know if that's accurate, if that's just me. But there's a very loving, I want to say alien presence that's able to come forward, to step forwards now that those particular royal families are weakened at the moment, because they obviously come from a different realm energetically as well. They don't actually technically belong here energetically. It's interesting, and it feels as though lessons are going to be coming through to us about how to change the world, remembering how to create the world, how to manifest the world, how to, in the most loving, feminine way possible. It's a rebirth. It's the rebirth of the divine feminine can now finally happen. And we will be moving into this new energy, this 39, 12, 3. Hey, it's 39 again. 39 again. Repeating numbers, 44, 39. Go back and see which other numbers we're repeating throughout this reading, because it's going to be very interesting this week, absolutely. So again, it's the wisdom leading the blueprint. It's our divine wisdom, our inspired wisdom, our spiritual wisdom from the higher aspects of self, helping to guide our DNA, our higher DNA, our spiritual blueprint right now. We are ascending with this energy. It's incredible. And there's a reminder of just how loved we are by the higher realms, but how special each one of us truly is. And it's impossible to remember that you are this beautiful divine being if you've got someone over you the whole time going, no, I'm the divine being. I wear the crown. You're not. It's impossible to remember, or very difficult to remember. And this is the magical spell, I would say, that we've been fighting against this whole time, which is really, really dissipating now. Many people have already woken up from the spell. They've broken their programming. They've bucked the yoke. But there's a beautiful feeling of love that comes through this week. Rainbow light becomes white, yes. And it's a reminder here that I really love this one. It's a reminder that we are all one, ultimately. Yes, we all have different skin colours or whatever. We come from different parts of the world, but put us all together, we're all one. We're all energy. It's so silly. We're just these divine aspects of the divine, having these human experiences, and we are loved by the divine. We are the divine. We are love. That's all that's real. It's beautiful. A really beautiful reminder coming in this week. And I think it's very pivotal as well. It comes on a very transformational 10, which marks the beginning of the new era. The new era is really, really kicking into gear now. And I think we're really going to see it. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. Yes, it's going to be time soon. Get up and go do the thing. It's going to be time soon. No more being held back. Humanity can really start to get going now. We can really start to get motoring on a spiritual level. It's going to be a week of divine awakenings. It's absolutely beautiful. It's about harmony. It's about remembering who we are and finally getting those plans into motion to bring the world and each one of our souls back into beautiful harmony with one another. So thank you very much for watching. If you reached the end of this reading with me, please do remember to share this video with a friend, leave me a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you have watched all the way to the end with me, if you can put the word Soulcraft in the comments so I know that. I really love to see when you guys do that. If there's anything that you would like me to make a video about that I haven't done or perhaps haven't thought to do, please do leave me a comment, let me know as well. And I will see you all again very soon.